Welcome back to my channel. I'm Kat Saves and I'm on a mission to help you shop smarter and save money. So in this video we are talking about bad shopping habits. I'm going to give you some really useful information on how you can overcome these habits and actually replace them with new, healthier ones. So I have outlined about 12 micro habits that you can start implementing to stop yourself overspending, to stop shopping addiction, compulsive buying, overspending, and just become a bit more intentional about where your hard-earned money is actually going, because literally we work so hard for the money that we earn. Why are we just wasting it? Why are we throwing it away on just frivolous things, like materialistic things that we do not need? It is such a shame to just be carelessly throwing our money away, basically. So becoming more conscious and intentional about where your money goes is not just great for your financial health, it also just positively affects your life overall. It makes you feel like you are living a more intentional life. And honestly, it just feels quite liberating to not be stuck in this like consumerism trap where you're just constantly buying and buying and buying to try and maybe fill a void, to like fill your time. Maybe you're bored, you're shopping because you're bored, anything like that. It just feels so liberating to get out of that. And this just honestly isn't a good plan for a long-term and happy future. So this is going to be a bit of a longer chatty video. Please, when you watch videos like this, I would love you to kind of make some notes and actually take something away from this instead of just watching mindlessly, because honestly, if you want to actually learn something, it's a really good idea to just jot some things down. I do it all the time. I find it so incredibly helpful. So let's get into some of the micro habits that you can start implementing into your life. And number one is a spending audit. So the first thing that we need to do is actually become very aware of what the problem is in the first place. We want to get as much information about it as possible, and then we can actually tackle the problem. And one thing I really recommend doing is a spending audit. So this is basically where you would just go back and you will see exactly where all your money is going. So you need to be checking your bank statements, you need to be checking receipts, like what are you actually spending all of your money on? It is so important to just be fully aware of that. Then once you've recognized where your money is actually going and what areas of your life your money is going into, you then have a much better idea of where your pain points are. So a pain point could be something like eating out too much, or maybe you're spending too much on clothing, maybe you're buying too much makeup that you don't need when you've already got things sat in your drawer that are unused or literally still pretty much full. So you basically just need to write it all down so you know what you're working with, and then you can investigate when you have a really strong need to spend money and then figure out why. For example, I noticed that when I felt sad, I would often spend money on food, and I know this is something that a lot of people go through. I know I'm not alone in this, and if that is you, you're not alone either. So I would typically just buy loads of snacks, or I'd be really tempted to buy a takeaway, which we are going to come to later on, because takeaways, such a waste of money. So that's why it is really helpful just to write everything down first of all, because awareness of a problem is literally a problem half solved. And then just having this awareness can help you make better decisions. It can help you find healthier ways to deal with the problems rather than spending money. So you really just need to ask yourself the question, if I'm being honest with myself right now, what problem in my life am I trying to solve by spending money? And my next point is finding out what's important to you. So another thing that we really need to look at is your values. What is actually important to you? Because I guarantee it is not that materialistic thing that is bringing you instant gratification. You want to be thinking about the things that create actual long-term happiness. It's so important to consider a budget, and becoming financially aware isn't about cutting out all of the things that you enjoy. I have said this in multiple videos. You don't have to just cut out everything that you enjoy doing. So it's really just about creating a plan that is basically tailored to you and how you're going to spend your hard-earned money. So for me, it's spending money on experiences. That's really important to me, but also I am trying to save money for a deposit to buy my first house. So I know not everyone's in the same situation, but it's really good if you've got that really big financial goal. You need to be thinking about that big financial goal every time that you want to spend money. If I'm spending £5 here and there, sometimes it just doesn't seem like it's a big deal at all, but it really does all add up, and you could be putting that £5 here and there into your house deposit. And I know these are the things that are going to be bringing me long-term happiness rather than whatever that £5 was on. I've probably forgotten about, you know, bought some moisturizer that's now sat in a drawer because I didn't even like it anyway. A lot of these things that we just end up buying, they literally don't even get used, or maybe we use them once, we forget about them, they sit in a drawer, they get covered in dust. Honestly, this is why we need to be thinking a lot more about what we are buying. And another big one for me is actually investing in myself. So for example, I do have a gym membership. It really helps my mental health, it helps my physical health obviously. I literally don't know what I would do without my gym membership. So if anybody tells you to get rid of your gym membership, you know, for me, I feel like it's something that I will never get rid of until I literally build my own gym in my house that I'm gonna buy. So the next step is we are gonna do reset number 1. So to get started with any kind of new mindset shift or new routine, you wanna have a little bit of a reset. You've probably had these spending habits for a really long time, and it is not easy to just stop one habit and start another. It can be quite difficult, so you know, we're going to take it slowly and you're going to be kind to yourself when you do this. So one thing you can do that is going to very clearly show you your own shopping habits is by doing a no spend month, or a no buy month, a low buy month, something like that. Again, this is something that you can completely tailor to your own situation, and this basically means you're going to be spending money on your essentials, your rent, your bills, essential food, and that's it. And then obviously you can allow yourself certain things depending on your own situation, your own lifestyle. So maybe you've got a birthday coming up, for example, and you know you're going to be spending money for that person's birthday. So this is when you can allow yourself to spend a bit of money, but you want to budget for it. So you know, you want to give yourself a specific amount of money that you allow yourself to spend. And the key is to just make it realistic for you, otherwise you're never going to stick to it. So you know, don't be restricting yourself from things, but just be very mindful of what you're spending your money on. So doing this no buy or low buy month is actually going to really just make you see what you were spending your money on before, and it's just going to show you your own habits, and then this can give you a really good idea of how to start again and make a new plan for the future. And then we're going to go on to reset number 2, and this is basically a reset of all of your stuff. So what we're going to do is a huge declutter. We're going to go through everything: your clothing, your makeup, your skincare. I used to have a drawer filled with makeup that I literally didn't even like, but I was keeping it because I thought, I bought that, I want to keep it, I don't want to get rid of it, it seems like such a waste, but I didn't actually like it, so I wasn't ever going to use it, and it was just cluttering up my space for literally no reason other than I didn't want to let it go. And just saying that out loud right now sounds crazy to me. That literally just sounds so stupid to me. So by doing a declutter like this, it really makes you see physically the money that you have spent on stuff that you don't even need or use or even want or even remember that you had probably. It can be so eye-opening to see how much money you've actually wasted. Honestly, just get rid of it and it will feel like a weight has been lifted. You can clear your space, clear your mind and start again. I totally forgot I made a cup of tea. Is it drinkable? It's gone a little bit cold. On to our next point is having a no buy list. So this is basically where you make a list of things that you are no longer going to buy. So after you've done your spending audit and you've done your reset number 1 and reset number 2, you will already have an idea about the things you no longer need or no longer worth it to you. For example, maybe you already have like 5 different pairs of jeans. That can then go on your no buy list because you literally do not need to buy another pair of jeans. You have enough. Or maybe you've realized that you are constantly buying new foundations even though you know that you already have one that you love and it hasn't even been finished yet. So then this will go on the list until you have finished that product and then you can buy another one. A really good rule that I give myself all the time is just to not buy a new thing until I have finished the thing I already have, and that just works with like makeup, skincare, food especially. How many bags of opened pasta do you have in your cupboard right now that you could just be using up before you buy any more? It's just things like that that you really need to think about, even though it just seems small and insignificant. Moving on, we're going to be talking about strong money goals. So this is really important because it's going to make you feel like you're working towards something, like you're actually doing all of this for a reason, and that reason is going to be something that's really important to you. Maybe your goal is to pay off some debt that you've got. Maybe you need to save enough money for a deposit on a house or invest a certain amount of money. Having a strong money goal, even if it's just one goal, this is going to keep you motivated, and this is what's important to keep you on track, especially when we are trying to create completely new habits. Another thing that we have already slightly touched on a little bit is tracking your money and budgeting. So having a budget is actually really helpful because it means you can see exactly how much money is coming in and exactly where it is going every single month. And then you can just kind of adjust your budget every month accordingly. So maybe one month you may have spent a little bit too much money on something, so then it's just something to be aware of for next month so you don't make the same mistakes. So this next tip is such a game changer. I think this is the best tip in the video, and that is to have a smart wish list. So how it works is you're going to write down on your wish list something that you really think you want. And then you're also going to write down next to it the amount of money that you are willing to pay for it. And this is like the absolute maximum. This is like you cannot go over this amount of money no matter what. And then you're also going to give yourself a time limit. So I think about 3 weeks to 4 weeks is actually a really good time limit for this. And that is how long you are going to go without buying that thing. And then once your time limit is up, you can see if you actually do need it. If you need it after that amount of time, then you can go and buy it. But if you have realized actually you don't need it at all, maybe it was just, you know, a spur of the moment thing, maybe you just saw it and you thought, oh, I really want that, but you know, 4 weeks later you've probably just forgotten about it. So if you don't need it, you will then realize that you don't need it, you won't buy it, and you're not gonna be wasting your money. So this is just a really good way to kind of overcome a bit of that shopping addiction and, you know, overconsumption. But once the time limit is up and you think I actually do need that item, then you're going to go and do your research into it, because you know, you might have seen it somewhere but you could actually get it cheaper somewhere else. I would definitely recommend doing research, shopping around. Can you find a similar product that's a lot cheaper? Maybe you wanted something that was like a big brand name but you could find it cheaper somewhere else. I would always recommend looking on Vinted. I have bought some things on Vinted that were brand new with the tag still on, and it was cheaper than on the original website. So I would definitely give Vinted a go, and honestly just shop around, do your research. Another little tip is to ask yourself this question. If you are really bad at just kind of spending your money willy-nilly here and there, just spending your money on everything, you need to ask yourself, how long do I have to work to earn the money to pay for this thing? And this is honestly really eye-opening. I used to do this when I worked jobs that paid me by the hour, and it was like, you know, back in the day when I was earning £6 an hour, it really was that bad. I remember thinking like, do I want to buy this t-shirt that costs £12, because that is like 2 hours working in my job, is 2 hours of my time worth that t-shirt? You know, it's just kind of putting it into perspective. If you actually really want to spend that money on that thing, it's honestly just like a massive reality check. And I just think you should ask yourself that question every time you want to buy something, and I think that's a really good one to add to your new habits. So next up, you're going to unsubscribe from all of those marketing emails. You don't need them. Honestly, why do you need to know when a new range is coming out? Why do you need to know these things? You don't. I'm telling you, you don't. That's why you need to unsubscribe from them all. They're literally just trying to entice you to buy things that you don't need. Maybe it looks like it's a really good deal. Maybe something's on sale right now. But again, you know, you want to go back to your values. You want to go back to your smart wish list. Do you actually need that thing? Probably not. You know, at this point, we're really making good work on getting rid of these bad habits, so we're only going to be buying things that are on our smart wish list. We're not going to be buying anything else. And those things that are on our smart wish list, we're going to be doing some research into where to get them for the best price, or you know, for the best quality, or whatever it is. So all of these marketing emails are not helping you at all. Actually, they are really bad for you, and get rid of them. Along the same lines, we are deleting shopping apps. I used to have all of the apps on my phone. I used to have ASOS, used to have Pretty Little Thing and Boohoo back in the day when I used to shop fast fashion, which I don't anymore. I used to have all of the apps, and I don't know what it was, but one day I was just like, I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to buy these clothes. I don't want to buy from these companies. Sometimes I'd be bored and I'd just literally be scrolling through Pretty Little Thing for no reason. I didn't need anything. You know, that's literally just how they get you. That's how they get you. So, you know, honestly, just delete all the apps. You don't need them. Another thing that really helped me to stop overspending is to stop myself from going into shops when I was bored. Now, this is really easy to do when you are living in a town or a city, or you're working in a town or a city. You know, you work in a town centre or something and you are literally surrounded by shops. Maybe before work, after work, on your lunch break, you want to have a little mooch about, and then you just end up buying things that you didn't plan for. You probably didn't need them. No, I know you definitely didn't need them, and they're just costing you money. You're just spending money that you were never going to spend otherwise. So what we're going to do is just break the habit of going into physical shops and replace it with a different habit. Can you maybe take yourself out on a walk somewhere else in a different direction, in the countryside? Is there something else that you could be doing rather than shopping? Something else that's going to keep your mind occupied? You know, maybe go for a walk and FaceTime a friend. Maybe, you know, have a phone call with your mum or something. Something that's just going to keep your mind distracted and on something else, something more positive and something more healthy for your mind, something more healthy for your bank account. Another area where a lot of us overspend and is a massive pain point for a lot of people is overspending on eating out or takeaways, as I touched on earlier. It's a really good idea to just kind of figure out why you're spending money on food. What's wrong? For me, again, earlier I said that it's, you know, when I get quite sad, I feel like I want to go and buy snacks. I want to go and buy all the snacks, all the chocolate, all the biscuits. I want to go get donuts. Like, it's just really unhealthy. And then once we've kind of figured out why we are spending so much money on food, we can kind of replace it again with healthier habits. So if you're going out to eat with friends because it's the only thing you do socially, you know, it's a social thing, we're going to go out for food, we're going to go out for drinks. Obviously it's a normal thing to do, and I'm not saying you have to cut it out completely, but if we're trying to get on top of our spending, we can try and replace that with doing other things. Go for a walk with your friends, go and do something that doesn't cost a lot of money. Maybe you can invite them over to your home and have a cooked dinner. Maybe you could have a movie night, a games night. You know, you can still socialize and spend time with people you love, but you don't have to go out and spend an absolute fortune. Or maybe you could like work into your budget a night out or like a restaurant meal here and there, so you know you've budgeted for it, you've got the money for it, and you're not just going out kind of as and when spontaneously spending money here and there because you've budgeted for it on, you know, specific days. You could also try and find ways to kind of cut back a little bit. You know, you don't have to buy alcohol, you don't have to get a starter, you don't have to get dessert, stuff like that. I know that sounds incredibly boring, but you can still go out and enjoy going out and enjoy socializing, but you don't have to like spend a ton of money doing it. So yeah, this point is really just about finding out why you're spending loads of money on food, and then tackling the problem, finding a different solution for the problem rather than buying food. If you are really sad and you want to buy loads of snacks, you know, try and find something else to do to keep your mind busy. Do some self-care, you know, maybe do a little face mask, do your skincare routine, go and you know, do something, try a different hobby. I like to paint, I like to draw. That kind of keeps my mind occupied. Reading, anything like that, you know, just try and do something to take your mind off of feeling sad. Next up, we are going to talk about the social media trap. Honestly, this is just such a big thing these days. Everyone has social media. Everybody gets sucked into buying things from influencers, or even just buying things from, you know, things that our friends have got that we see they've posted about online, and we're like, oh my god, I need that now, when literally you don't need it. Turn your notifications off. I don't get notifications from any of my social media accounts. I've also put a time limit on my social media. I give myself 30 minutes on Instagram, 30 minutes on TikTok every single day, and that's it, and honestly it really does work. You're not just endlessly scrolling. You don't need to be constantly keeping up with the trends. You don't need to be buying all these things that everybody else has. Especially with TikTok Shop, it is such a cheap and easy way to buy things. Honestly, I think it's too easy sometimes. Honestly, I think it's just a really good idea to detox from it. Just have a big social media detox in general. You know, delete all the apps for a little while, just completely clear your mind. But I really do recommend, you know, unfollowing certain people who make you feel like you need to buy certain things, and just honestly be really aware of who you're following and what type of content you are consuming. You can also block certain words and phrases. I know, like on TikTok, you can literally block TikTok Shop, so you know it's not going to come up on your For You page, which is really good. Moving on to my last point, this is being aware of lifestyle creep. So lifestyle creep or lifestyle inflation is basically when you start to make more money because maybe you've got a promotion or you've got a new job that pays more, so then you start spending more money as well. So basically your financial situation doesn't change at all because you're earning more money, but you're also spending more money. So it's just something to be really aware of. So ideally you want your spending to kind of stay the same, even if you start earning more money, whatever, you know, through whatever, maybe you got a side hustle, maybe you started making money through your YouTube channel, you know, but you don't have to spend more money just because you're earning more money. Really, you want to kind of keep it the same where it was before. And then you've got extra money to save towards your emergency fund. Maybe you've got sinking funds, maybe you've got investments, maybe you can put some more money in your lifetime ISA to save for that house deposit. So I really hope you found something in this video useful. Please leave me a comment if you did, and also please leave me a comment if you've got any tips. I really do love just reading everybody else's tips and tricks. I love that we can kind of just give each other a little bit of advice, and I find it so incredibly helpful. So please leave me a comment, please like this video, and subscribe if you want some more money saving tips and shopping content.